Our plenary speaker is social media sensation Autism Daddy. Autism Daddy is the father to an 11-year-old son with severe classic nonverbal autism. He doesn't have a degree in anything related to autism, but he has been riding the autism roller coaster for over 9 years, now living on the corner of Autism Avenue and Seizure Street, and has been anonymously blogging about his experiences. His claim to fame is giving people a realistic, non-sugar-coated look at the world inside an autism household, the good, the bad, and the poop. What began as a need to express his thoughts and feelings has become a social media landslide, helping to connect hundreds of thousands of voices worldwide and share a message of hope, real-life insight, and love. Autism Daddy inspires and provides a light for others to hold on to. We are honored to welcome today Autism Daddy.
Hello, everybody. So I'm going to read a little bit. I'm not a public speaker, as you're going to find out. Okay, thank you for inviting me to this amazing conference in Utah. I'm a New Yorker, like Dr. Gephardt, but I am thrilled to look at the mountains. Mountains are beautiful. This is my first time doing any sort of presentation like this, so forgive me, I am very nervous. But as he said, I'm not a doctor or an educator or some autism expert, and I'm definitely not a public speaker, as you're about to find out over the next 45 minutes or so. I'm just the father of an 11-year-old boy with autism. Nothing more, nothing less. He is our only child. And as an autism dad, I've got no amazing recovery story. Oh, I gotta grab the clicker. See, I'm already messing up. I've got no amazing recovery story to tell you about how this certain treatment or this certain teaching method really helped my son. My kid is severely autistic, nonverbal. He's always been one of the lowest functioning kids in his class. And I'm not here to tell you some heartwarming story that my kid having autism is something that changed my life for the better. I guess it has in some ways, but I'd trade it all in a heartbeat. And I'm not some perfect parent or husband who's got it all figured out. Far from it. I still yell at my kid. And my wife and I are always battling with each other over one thing or another, whether it's autism related or who spilled maple syrup all over the fridge. And that was me. I didn't fess up to it, but that was me. So why the heck am I here? Because 4 years ago I started an anonymous blog and Facebook page called Autism Daddy when I couldn't find a true realistic depiction of what being an autism parent is really like on the internet. The good and the bad. Too many blogs I found were all sunshine and rainbows. So I started writing daily and posting pictures daily of our lives, about our difficult, crazy, yet hilariously funny reality of raising a child with autism, and people have really responded to it. I get tens of messages daily thanking me for posting reality, and people from around the world telling me how refreshing and comforting it is to know that there's people dealing with the exact same craziness that they are. My claim to fame on my blog, and this gets me in trouble a lot, is that I tell it like it is. I don't sugarcoat things. I consider myself the Howard Stern of autism bloggers. I let the world into every aspect of my life, the good, the bad, the pee, and the poop. I originally made the blog anonymous because my wife wanted me to, and happy wife, happy life. And now 4 years later, with over 110,000 followers, I'm glad she did because the internet is full of wackos. Maybe there's some wackos here tonight. Are there any wackos here? So on my blog and page, no one sees my face or my son's face. We're kind of like Wilson on Home Improvement. And on the blog, I call my son the king because he rules our lives. And on the blog, I call my wife wifey. So if you hear those terms in my presentation, you'll know why. But to be honest, you might not hear much about my son in my presentation today. Here's a little about him. He's 11, he's autistic, he's nonverbal, his receptive language is still kind of poor. At 11 years old, he still has no true formal method of communication. PECS, sign language, ABA, none of it really stuck. He communicates by taking us by the hand and bringing us to what he wants, and even that is relatively new. He's got crazy stims and behaviors, he has his ups and downs, and puts us through the ringer sometimes. He's gone through bouts with self-injurious behavior, as you can see by the cracked window pane that he headbutted a few years back. Hitting others, mouthing everything. That's a Chewy tube in that picture, but a couple of days ago he was chewing on a AA battery, and we're like, yeah, that's not a good idea. Climbs on everything, as you can see there. He used to do that naked, and the neighbors, I don't know what they thought, but it's an accomplishment that he's wearing clothes now. And he also touches everything, and recently touches himself everywhere, if you know what I mean. But He's got a smile that can light up a room, and his personality shines through in spite of his autism or because of his autism, depending on who you talk to. But as cute as he is, and as much as I love him, my presentation isn't really about him. It's more about me and my wife. It's more about parenting. The goal of my presentation here today is to shine a light on some of the things that no one ever tells you when your kid is diagnosed, or that no one ever told me when my kid was diagnosed. And be forewarned that in my presentation you might hear some words that some in the autism community find offensive. So we got severe autism, low functioning, high functioning, my son has autism, my son is autistic. If you hear something that offends you, please ignore it and listen to the rest of my message. I don't have time to be politically correct, and the rules and words we're supposed to use change every year. All right, so here goes. And I was always going back and forth. Should it be things that no one ever tells you, things that no one ever tells me? I made it me because a lot of it's maybe only relates to me, but things that no one ever tells me, things that no one ever told me after my son was diagnosed. Some of these are serious, some are meant to be funny or tongue-in-cheek and sarcastic, some will only apply to me, some might apply to everybody. Here's something that probably only applies to me, that my car would look like this. And that autism parenting is all about picking and choosing your battles. That's a picture of our minivan on any given weekday. When your autistic kid doesn't eat and has a history of losing weight, he once lost 10% of his body weight in the matter of 2 months, and that was only 6 pounds, but when you're only 60 pounds and you lose 6 pounds, that's something to be serious about. So when he has a history of losing weight, you let him eat whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and that's the proof of the pudding. Here's another thing that no one ever told me. That you're allowed to be mad that your kid has autism. Let me say that again. You're allowed to be mad that your kid has autism. When your kid is first diagnosed, you will probably be mad, sad, and scared. And all of those feelings are completely valid. However, if you believe many within the autism community, you need to get over those feelings quickly and put a smile on your face and reach a place of acceptance quickly. You'll have people sending you beautiful poems like Welcome to Holland, and they'll send you inspiring autism stories, and they'll tell you things like, God doesn't give you more than you can handle, and God only gives special kids to special parents. And all this makes you feel like you're not allowed to grieve, that there's something wrong with you, that you're not on board with this whole thing, that you're not happy and thrilled that your kid has autism. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're allowed to be mad, you're allowed to grieve. My son was diagnosed over 9 years ago, and I'm still sad, mad, and scared of that fact on a daily basis. I still grieve sometimes. I still see typical father and son interactions and wonder, what if? 9 years in, and I'm still not thrilled that he has autism. Should I be? Well, I'm not. That doesn't mean I don't love my son. That doesn't mean I don't accept him for the person he is. The takeaway here is no matter what anybody tells you, you can be mad that your kid has autism. You can grieve and you can be sad. That doesn't mean you're a bad parent and you don't accept your kid. Here's something else no one ever told me. That my son would have 3 rooms in our house and I'd have none. Now, we don't live in a mansion. We live in a small 1,400 square foot house. And the king has his bedroom. He's got a playroom that's in destruction mode over there. And recently, my home office was taken over by wifey as his therapy room. Now, I've got no man cave. I don't have a safe place to put the keys in the mail when I walk in after work, because depending on where they put them, they might end up in his mouth. And I used to be able to put him up high, and now he's 5'2", so even the high spaces don't work. So I have no place to put any of my stuff.